We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. A very good morning to all of you guys. And let's start with the session today. So, what questions do we have to do?
Yeah, certainly. So our featured question of the day is, if I already qualify under three EB1A categories, three EB1A criteria, is there still a strategic advantage in joining the Next League program to strengthen my overall case?
Okay, I think this again comes from the fact that you need to fulfill just merely three criterias. I have been saying, criterias are only lens to look at your profile. There could be a lot more ways in which you can possibly kind of do it. I don't think three criteria are sufficient. Number one, let's say, for example, if you have 100 initiatives in your entire professional career, you have 5 years of experience, you have 10 years of experience, and you have total 100 initiatives or 50 initiatives, we have to see which initiatives would fall under which criteria and then try to look at, having looked at it from the lens of criteria, you need to apply for respective criteria actually. And present it by the way of criteria. Let's not look at it, present it by the way of criteria, and that's the best way to look at it. I think one of the biggest mistakes people meet or they undertake is they just try to meet the criteria and then they feel why USCIS. Yesterday I met one gentleman. He had come to join the program and he had fulfilled 5 criteria and still felt that why it is so, because the feeling of entitlement comes in actually. I've done some judging, I've done this thing, so I think USCIS should do it. You get EB1A only for 3 reasons. Number one, not the 3 criteria of course. Number one, that you are an expert. Number two, that expertise is beneficial to the US, and number 3 is that you will continue in the field of expertise actually. And you have to use these 3 criteria, all the 8, whatever criteria that you are applying out of 10, to prove these 3 things. Now, please understand that. Very rarely, I would say that if you can prove it using 3 criteria, that is good enough. But rarely I have seen, I don't think we have had any single case coming to us. But yes, I'm aware of certain high-profile PhDs having thousands of citations meeting this requirement using 3 criteria. But as I said, that's very rarest of the rare cases actually. So Next League will help you to position your case in a most articulate manner that will help you to get closest towards EB1. Please understand that. Okay, so I think this should answer the question. Let's move to the next.
Of course. So the next question is: I've seen people mention that the Next League program helps with positioning. What does that exactly mean in practice? Do you help reframe someone's experience into EB1A language and structure, or is it more high-level guidance?
It's a combination of both, Syria. I think we know this very well, that if somebody says that we help people to kind of help in positioning would basically mean that you have done this, you have done that, how to develop interconnectivity between all of the initiatives that you have done. You did some original contribution for which you got an award, for which a membership was bestowed. Being a member, you kind of did something that again gave you another award, or that led to another membership. You wrote an article, that article was scholarly and somebody wanted to implement it, somebody reached out to you and offered a job position also. Actually, this has happened several times in our organization, in our program, by different organizations, and that's the way the positioning would imply it. It's not merely a superficial way of looking at things. It implies that there has been a serious attempt to help you enhance your profile. Okay, so let's move to the next.
Absolutely. So the next question, they say, I spoke with an attorney earlier, and the experience felt transactional, mostly focused on asking me to gather and submit evidence. I'm trying to understand how the Next League program is different in that sense. Do they actually help you build your profile and position your work over time, or is it more of an advisory approach?
Well, it is more of a coaching approach. I would say that there are three levels of any coaching or mentoring. One is a coaching, one is a mentoring, one is an advisory, one is a consulting. There are different aspects to it. Actually, it is much beyond just merely advisory. It is hand holding you and holding and building accountability that helps you to achieve it. We don't. I mean, whenever you go to a lawyer, that's their job. If you are finally arrived, you can't compare, apple to oranges here. Actually, okay, so that's the kind of a difference that arises between going to a lawyer. In fact, we are also a law firm, but our law firm, at the end of the day, legal services will come in only after you have finished the coaching, and in that sense, even our kind of legal services will be pretty transactional like any other law firm. Let's keep that thing in mind. Okay, so let's move to the next.
Yeah, so another aspirant asks, I recently heard that the authorship and scholarly articles criteria is weighted more heavily than others. Is it true that there is more value in this criteria?
No, I mean, I don't think that is true actually. Each and every criteria, I mean, as I mentioned to you, is every equal lens. In fact, you may not need those certain criteria if you are kind of, if you have not written, if you don't need your profile or your top of the field being there, if you can prove it without even that actually. So I don't think that is the correct way or there is an additional weight or something like this. But yes, having said this, I would say one of the strongest criteria that you can aim for, if that exists for you, is original contribution. I'm yet to see a single case. Very rarely, maybe I don't want to say I've not seen a single case, but very rarely seen a case, maybe one in a million, actually, something like this. That if somebody has met the original contribution criteria and yet not got his EB1A profile or got not got his EB1A approved, then in that case it would be correct. Otherwise, I think it would not be very impactful. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's move to the next.
Absolutely. They ask if I'm not in a managerial or senior role at my company, would there still be a possibility to prove that I'm in critical to the organization?
Of course, of course. We have seen a lot of people who are software engineers or people who are, even we have seen people who are 26-year-old, people who are 50-year-olds. I mean, they have gotten EB1A. That's not a prerequisite. In fact, I always say that for the purpose of your EB1A, what are you without your job? What are you without your business title? And what are you without your income matters a lot actually for the company for the purpose of EB1A to USCIS, and that's the best way to present your case actually here. So one should not bother about it. In fact, if anybody wants to reach out to us, please kind of know more about EB1A. Look at our material on the YouTube site, or there are various links that will be given below this particular session in the comment section. Please have a look at it, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, so let's move to the next question.
Sure thing. So the next question is, we have spent a lot of money on a lawyer for EP1A. We received an RFE, made a strong response, and were still denied. We applied with 8 out of the 10 criteria and worked on this for over a year. What would you recommend to do next in this situation?
Well, when you say that, that is your perception that a strong response. A strong, in my view, is being defined as something which is credible, something which is relevant, and something which is probative. If it is not there, it does not meet the purpose, then it is not a strong. So first, I want to understand what when you say a strong argument would have three layers. Number one, it is based on facts and truths. Number two, there are some scientific metrics or quantifiable metrics involved into the two, and then there is a built on a or glued with the proper legal arguments. Actually, that's the way a good argument is built up. Actually, here in this particular case, I would say that. Okay, so anything not there is will not make a sense. And let's take a last question. Actually,
Yeah, of course. So our last question, they say I'm on an F1 non-immigrant visa. What's the process to change over to EB1A since it's an immigration visa? Is there any conflict or chance I could jeopardize my visa status?
oh, this seems to be an absolutely a legal question. Actually, I don't want to qualify myself to be a legal expert to respond to this, but nevertheless, in general, if you see somebody is having an F1 visa, it is definitely a non-dual intent visa. So first, I think ideally the step should be to move to a dual intent visa or intent visa that allows you to apply for EB1A. While we have had some people, after having taken a legal opinion, they did apply, but as I mentioned to you, that is a job of our attorneys to take a call on this in a very case to case basis. And this we would not, as I said, this forum maybe not be a right fit for that. But yes, as I mentioned, we did have some students who were on F1 OPT and did apply for their EB money. Okay, so that's all we have for the day, guys. And if you want to reach out to us, reach out to Mario, Celia, or I. We'll be happy to help you to join the next week program. The link is given below, and wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any further questions or need personalized guidance, please reach out to us. We are here to help you every step of the way in your journey towards achieving your American dream. Let's connect and make it happen together.